welcome to Andrea Berghout Academy, a new business class, business English class today, together with Mihaela.
Hello.
Hello, Miha. And the question of the day is investing in stock markets risky during the pandemic? I guess Mihaela would know the answer, but I'm not sure. Though I know for sure that she knows the terms, yes, that we can use when talking about stock markets. So, Mihaela, what can you tell us today?
Hi, everybody. Well, we're working a little bit on vocabulary. So, as you said, we'll talk a little bit about investment vocabulary. We'll see them both in English and Romanian at the beginning, and then practice, of course. We always like to practice with English terms. So, should we start?
Yes, please.
I'm going to share my screen.
Meanwhile, if you have questions about our lessons, you can our lesson and lessons, you can comment. Yes, we have this posted on LinkedIn and on Facebook. We are here to listen to your question and answer. And of course, you can like our page, it would be great, and share the video that we are doing. Thank you, Andrea Berghout Academy. Let's continue, Mihaela.
And you can also do the exercises and then comment. Everybody can comment and do the exercises with us. So the terms that we will work on today, investment. I made a little list here, both English and Romanian terms. And some of them we've already met in previous classes. For example, stock and stock market were actually present in one of the financial classes in the past, adică acțiuni și bursă, volatility, volatilitate, volatile, volatil. So you have to pay attention to pronunciation or the change in pronunciation from the noun volatility to the adjective volatile. The same with fraud and fraudulent. Fraud, fraudă, fraudulent, fraudulos. Then we have diversified portfolio, portofoliu diversificat. So the pronunciation is diversified. Then liquidity and liquid, lichiditate, lichid numerar. And two very new terms, we've never actually seen these previously, hedge and hedging. Hedge, if we talk about investment terms, it means înseamnă acoperire, adică atunci când te pui la adăpost de anumite riscuri sau îngrădire, oarecum același lucru, dar mai mult acoperire este, să zicem, că ar fi cuvântul potrivit. Hedge și hedging. These are the terms that we'll be working on today. The first exercise is based on these terms. So we'll have to figure out what type of word we need in the sentences because we have some completion sentences. We also have the words, the terms here. And we have to figure out if we need a noun or we need an adjective. In order to find the best one. And of course, you have to figure out from the context as well, because we'll make a little connection between how we create these sentences, how we solve these sentences, and also working on terms. So if we look at the first sentence, he has advised me to buy some blank in a successful software company. So you have to figure out that it's about buying something. And if we have the word some, it has to be a noun. So if we look at our words there, well, you cannot buy some liquidity in a successful software company. Definitely you cannot buy fraud or hedge. So then our best solution is stock. The second sentence, you should maintain a blank. Now, because we have the article a, it will definitely have to be a noun in case there's a sudden change in the market. And we have a noun, but you have to remember as well that sometimes the nouns come with adjectives. So if we have only a noun and we use the word portfolio, for example, you should maintain a portfolio in case there's a sudden change in the market. And that works. That's a good sentence. It's just that it doesn't really create the meaning of the sentence. Why should you maintain a portfolio if there's a sudden change in the market? So the best solution would be to add an adjective as well and have diversified portfolio. That makes a little bit more sense. Diversified and the sudden change in the market, they kind of connect together. Sentence number 3, they have paid out a lot of cash recently there by creating some type of problems. We have some problems. We have a gap before a noun, and that will always be an adjective. So we have to find an adjective. Now we have the word liquidity, which will act as an adjective for our noun problems. And I'll do one more, and then I will give everybody else, everybody who's watching us now and who will watch us later, I will give you a little bit of time to think about sentences 5 and 6, and then you come up with the answer by yourselves. And then, of course, I'll show you the answer. So number 4, the blank of some exchange rate makes it hard to predict what will happen. So we talk about, it has to be a noun, definitely, because we have the article the, and we have to think and talk about something that is related to exchange rates. And out of our words there, it's volatility. And we'll set now a 5-second timer, let's say, for our sentences 5 and 6. For number 5, let's start. I hope that if you read the sentence, you understand what on trial means. Of course, on trial and illegal in the sentence, they go together. So you should understand from the context what's the problem with the financial director. So he's on trial for fraud arising from illegal insider dealing. Okay, and then I gave up the answer before actually putting it on the screen. So on trial means that he's being not sentenced, but he's being investigated for fraud. Number 6, let's have a timer. Okay, we definitely need a noun. We have an article, so we'll have to find a word that connects to low-risk savings. And that would be hedge. So he will be then saved, let's say, from market volatility. That's our first exercise. The following exercise will just give a little bit of content, a little bit of how to create sentences, and well, because you don't have to create your sentences yourself, so you will have to rearrange the words in order to make meaningful and correct sentences. We have the first one, which is already done as an example, and then I will show you the other ones. Now, if you look at the first one, you see that the sentence starts with profits, which is in capital P. So that's an indication of the first word in your sentence. So if you ever work with exercises like this, pay attention to whether you have an indication of the first word. So profits from futures trading fell last year as competition hit commissions. So we'll go to our second one. Just look at, we'll look a little bit of the words. The only one that starts at the very beginning with a capital letter is Astral's Energies. But Astral is a name and it would start with a capital word anyway. So we don't have another one. So we will start our sentence with Astral's Energies. Now, because we have a genitive apostrophe S, we need a noun afterwards. And here is our sentence. Astral Energies acquisition of Star Oil boosted oil production by 32%. If we have the word acquisition, then we also need to understand what exactly do they purchase. So then of Star Oil would then be very, very close to the word acquisition because they have to stick together. The information that is related one with the other have to be placed one after the other. Then we of course need the verb boosted, which is in past simple. Boosted what? Again, if you ask that question and you also have an answer for it, what does it boost or what do they boost? Then, and you have an answer, the answer needs to be placed right after the verb because the verb then means it's transitive. And by 32% will be at the end because it will be information on boosting oil production. Then if we look at number 3, we have asset management. So it's very clear that our sentence starts with asset management. And we have 21% to 12 million. We'll have to see which one we'll have to place first or second. So asset management. Now we kind of need a verb. So we'll see whether made strong progress would be the next words to follow. Made strong progress. But we have of the firm, so you have to think where you would place it. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to figure out how you would do this sentence. And here is our sentence. Asset management of the firm made strong progress to 12 million with profits up by 21%. I guess we all understand what asset means, what progress is. Okay, asset means, well, in Romanian ar fi active, patrimoniu. Progress, bineînțeles, profits up by însemna profit crescut cu 21%. Și în propoziția numărul 2, cuvântul acquisition, care înseamnă cumpărare, achiziție. Number 4. Now we have the word with, which is a proper name. So we'll start our sentence with that since we don't have another word in a capital letter. So that means that our sentence will start with that. So I'll give you a few seconds to figure out. Maybe you can also write it in the comments. And here is the sentence. Wiz turned in a good performance, selling strongly with Rowi's books in the first quarter. Remember, in the first quarter has to be at the end of the sentence because that's a time expression. Turned in a good performance, meaning that they performed well or they had a good performance in selling, of course, and in selling Rowi's books. Two more sentences. In sentence number 5, you see we have a very, very clear indication of the first words after lifting itself. And we have an expression out of the red. Out of the red means paying all debts or being in a state of not having debts. So if you lift out of the red, it means you paid all your debts and you no longer owe money to anybody, or banks, investors, or whoever else. So that means that after lifting itself out of the red, it would be, these two phrases would have to stick together. We also have last year, and last year is followed by a comma. That means that it would be in the middle of the sentence, right? I mean, we have two different sentences here. We have one phrase, so that means that we have to put last year in the middle of the sentence and then follow with the second sentence. So it would be, after lifting itself out of the red last year, that's our first sentence, BGH slipped back to register a loss of $8 million. Okay, we also have last year, which is the first sentence. So remember, that's still at the end of the sentence because there's another sentence following that. To register a loss, meaning they had a loss of $8 million. Slipped back means they went back to their previous state. And the last sentence that we'll have to go through, we also have an expression here, through the ringer, which means through very difficult times, through different problems. So we have the word shareholders, that will be our first word. And of course, we also have volatile behavior. Oh, I would draw your attention to the spelling of the word behavior. And what do you think? Is that British English or not? Maybe you can comment and let us know what you think, or if you know if that's British spelling or not. Remember, we talked about the word volatile earlier, which means fluctuating very much. So our sentence will start with shareholders. Now we would need a verb, have been put. So here's our sentence. Shareholders have been put through the ringer due to market's volatile behavior. Have been put through the ringer, meaning that they went through very difficult times. Due to means because of the market's volatile behavior. I suggest that you do further work with these sentences. What you can do is you try to paraphrase the sentences. We would very, very much like to hear from you and see how you try to paraphrase the sentences, maybe come up with synonyms or antonyms to some of the words. That would be very, very useful because it boosts your vocabulary, it increases your ability to understand or to use language. So this is the two exercises that we've had today. I'll stop sharing now. And I hope it was useful and you learned something new today, something that you didn't know. And if you have any questions, you should definitely let us know.
By commenting at our posts or writing on contact@andrea@berghout.com. Looking forward to seeing you at our classes. Remember that we are official providers of IELTS or OET and IELTS preparation, that we also have business classes for all the languages included in our portfolio: English, French, German, Dutch, Italian, and Spanish. See you next time. Have a great week. And of course, stay healthy.